Good morning. I am here today again, making another little video, and I thought today I would actually do makeup. In my last video, I horrendously failed at putting makeup on my face, and all I did was blab to the camera for 20 minutes. So today I'm going to actually go through what I wear kind of just on a daily basis. For anyone who may not know, I have very dry skin. A lot of stuff does not work on me. Wearing it all day, going to work, doing whatever you do throughout the day, sometimes I have a really hard time finding stuff that works for me. So I'm gonna go through kind of what I wear on a daily basis. And then I thought it would be fun if I answered some questions, and I'm a big fan of Reddit, so I'm gonna go through their AskReddit feed and answer some of the questions from there because I thought that would be fun. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with some base products. I'll let you know, I've actually been using this off the recommendation of the Taylor on YouTube. It's the Ordinary Organic Cold Pressed Rosehip Seed Oil. I usually have a very, very red and splotchy face. So this actually, I'm almost through one bottle, so I've probably been using this for 2 to 3 months. It definitely took me a little bit to see results, but I do feel like everything is like very hydrated, and I do feel like I'm a little less red, like after I wash my face or just anything like that. And then I've also been using the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Cream. I don't know if I can show this any better. I got this actually from, I think, a Boxy Luxe box, that or just a regular Boxy Charm, but I've really been enjoying this. Like I said, I have very, very dry skin, and this I feel like helps so much with that. So I've been using the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. This I feel like it doesn't really do much to make my makeup last longer, or I don't think it really has anything skin benefit wise, but it does add a little bit of color and then a little bit of glow underneath your foundation. Oh, and by the way, this is 902 Light Glow. All right, let's get a question going. So one of the first questions on AskReddit, if you saw my last video, has to do with quitting a job and not having another one right away. So this is, if you had $600 to your name and were about to be homeless, how would you spend this money to guarantee the ability to live? Okay, begin with some foundation. This is like the best foundation that I have ever used for my skin. I do feel like it lasts all day on me. It doesn't break up. I'm not normally looking for super full coverage. So this is definitely buildable, but it's more medium coverage. It mostly just covers up my redness and kind of gives me just like an even base to work with. But this is the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation, and I have it in shade LN4. This is usually dark for me, but when I have like a little bit of spray tanner or self tanner on, I'll use this, and then I still have to kind of like bronze up a little bit, but their lightest shade is LC1, so you can see kind of a little bit of a difference. So this is the lighter one, and they look exactly the same. Sweet. All right, and to apply that, maybe. So I usually use the Real Techniques, don't mind this is so dirty. I usually use the Real Techniques sponge for this foundation and anything else that I use. But lately I've actually been really enjoying using a big fluffy brush. I was watching Lauren Curtis, I believe, and she uses like a big powder brush kind of like this. And ever since I tried it, I really, really like it because I feel like the denser ones sometimes pick up too much, or I feel like they leave me very streaky, and a brush like this I've actually really been enjoying. So this is the Moda big powder brush. I believe I also got this in a Boxy Charm, but I have brushes like, let me try to find something else that's similar. Even this Real Techniques multitask face brush is really nice. It's like got a little bit of an angle, but it's kind of the same density. So if you had $600 to your name, about to be homeless, how would you spend this money to guarantee the ability to live? Gosh, I feel like I don't have enough information to really supply a good answer for this. About to be homeless, I guess in my specific situation, I would most likely move back home with my parents. Or maybe crash with a friend. and then either spend that money on, you know, the bare necessities, food, making sure my gas tank was full. God, that might not be as fun of an answer as I thought it was gonna be. But I really like this because you can't really, with most brushes I feel like you can see streaks as you're buffing something out, especially something like I have the Luxie 532 round top blender, and this for me is almost too dense to the point where I can't not have streaks when I'm blending everything out. So I like this. I feel like it does a really great job of blending everything out and making it look like I used like a sponge, or even like your fingers. I'll give you kind of like a little bit. But I feel like it looks really nice. If you're not looking for super full coverage, it definitely adds some glowiness, but there definitely are some spots where like I'll add concealer, like around my eyebrows, my forehead. I feel like I stay very red, obviously, like under my eyes. All right, so before I get to my next question, I'm gonna go ahead and start concealing. So I actually splurged a little bit and got the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. This is in the shade Snow. I really like this because I feel like it is full coverage, it lasts a really long time, but I don't feel like it's super drying on my skin. It's definitely a drier formula, but something that I would compare it to is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This definitely is a very dry formula. I feel like a little bit goes a very long way. I will usually just I'll use this under my eyes, but I won't use it anywhere else, and then I won't set this. And then the only thing I would say to be wary of is I had to order another shade of this because the first shade I got, so this is light peach, and then I ended up getting medium peach, which is almost a little bit too light for me as well. So the shades are kind of odd, but I can give you a little idea here. Yeah, so you can see a little bit of a difference here. So light peach is definitely lighter, but still has this undertone. I feel like is better for using under your eyes. I do have pretty dark circles and that blue tone that this would cancel out. And medium peach actually looks a little bit darker on camera than it does in person. But this to me still feels like it's in the light range and still feels light for me. Like I don't use this all over my face, but I use it under my eyes and it still highlights compared to my foundation color. But I'm gonna go in with Born This Way and Snow. The next question that I found on AskReddit is, what are some good internet rabbit holes to check out? I've actually recently been watching a ton of Jenna Marbles' old videos, and some of the videos that she does are the, oh, what does she call it? I guess she just calls it a YouTube hole, doesn't she? Or Google Deep Dive, I think that's what it is. But those are some of my favorite videos to watch because I feel like I get on the same track where I will log into my subscriptions on YouTube, watch a couple of videos that I haven't seen yet, and then somehow end up on like children like learning disorder videos and just crazy stuff. I'm trying to think of something recently that I've watched that was just absolutely absurd. Ooh, I know, I was watching, I think it was the video that KathleenLights and RawBeautyKristi did together, and they were talking about like true crime and the stuff that they like to watch. And I can't remember if it was that video that she mentioned it, but she, I think Kristi said, Kristi's the one who mentioned Bailey Sarian's videos, and she does Makeup Murder Mystery Mondays, which have been so entertaining. She's not only like a fantastic makeup artist, like I could never in a million years just sit down and plot makeup on my face the way that she does. It's so beautiful, but she tells a story the whole time that she's doing her makeup of a true crime story, and they're very, very interesting. They're not too long, but she recently did the story on Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and then they have the show on Hulu called The Act, and I have been watching it like the day it comes out for the last month. It's so interesting to me, but those are kind of the types of videos. Like I'll usually hear someone talk about something in a video and then go look it up. I do watch a lot of like celebrity interviews on like Conan or like late night. I usually get sucked into those, and I'll end up watching celebrities who have never seen it in anything before, and then somehow end up watching their shows. So that's probably the thing that I get closest to like internet rabbit holes. It's just clicking whatever's next in my subscription or if I hear someone talk about something, I'll go and watch it. Okay, so with the e.l.f. concealer, I normally will not powder because it is a very dry formula. Okay, so I think I was saying with the Born This Way concealer, I will put a little powder down. I actually really like the Rimmel London Stay Matte powder. This is just in shade 1 Transparent. It's something I've used literally since high school, and I just always keep going back to it. I really like it. So I usually take a big brush. This is the Aesthetica P12 brush. As you can see, it has lots of powder on it. And I just kind of dust this everywhere. I feel like it helps me feel like my face isn't so like sticky, but it doesn't completely, like, I feel like I don't lose all the shine from the foundation and that L'Oreal base I have. So it kind of just like, it powders everything down. Ooh, what spoiler do you think will be most upsetting to people who click on this question? I'm not gonna click on it, but it made me think of, I think last night was the first episode of Game of Thrones for season 8. Did any of you watch it? What do you think? What theories do you have? Have you been watching theory videos? Me, I think for this specific show, I'd probably be pretty upset if I learned what happened. And obviously, the answer isn't out there, but for the most part, I'm the type of person that you could tell me exactly what happens, and I will either forget, or it doesn't bother me, I'll still watch it. And probably still be surprised what this is. This is the Essence Luminous Matte Bronzing Powder. I really like this. It's like $3 at Ulta, but it gives me like a really nice, just like a little bit of definition, but it's not completely matte. And then I'm using a Isabella Scott Duo Fiber Big Brush. So like I was saying, I'm not gonna spoil anything, obviously, but I was watching some theory videos, and while I was watching kind of like recaps to make sure I remembered what happened for the first 7 seasons, some people have come up with theories that would be very interesting if they happened. And I'm definitely not the type of person that I'm not going to be upset if one of the main characters doesn't take the throne, or something happens, or someone dies. Like, this whole show you've been pretty much primed to not get too attached to anybody. So I could see like maybe something that necessarily wasn't your first thought happening with the end of it, but still something that's like satisfying. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with some blush. This is, as you can see, you can't even see what's on the front of this anymore. This is Milani Luminoso, their baked powder blush. I don't use anything else besides this. As you can see, this is literally like the bottom of the pan. But this is so glowy and so beautiful, and I can't stop using it, and I never ever will. Okay, great. This is an Ellen Tracy brush that I got from Ulta, and it's just like a, no, not Ulta, from TJ Maxx. And it's just like a little angled fluffy brush, but I really like this for this blush specifically. I feel like it diffuses it very nicely. I'm going to do eyebrows now. So I usually go in with like a little spoolie. Sorry, I will try to let you see what's happening. I've been trying to find a new brow pencil. I do feel like, so this is the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. I think this is in Taupe. So this is in Taupe. I do feel like it's a good color, but the formula, I feel like I have like a little spot right here that just doesn't grow in, and I feel like with this, it does better when you're putting it like through hair and not necessarily on a sparse spot like this. So I'll go ahead and do my brows with this. I do like the color a lot, and that's probably one of the main reasons that I use it. Okay, so yeah, you can kind of see like right here, it doesn't fill it in all the way, but other than that, I really like the color and I really like the texture of this, and I feel like it lasts me like at least 3 or 4 weeks to go through these, and they're like $5, so And then another product actually from the drugstore. I can't remember, I feel like I went to go look for this and I can't remember if it was still there or not. I think you can get it online, but it's the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. I really like this because I feel like it really just grabs onto those hairs and like you feel like you have 20 times more than you normally do. So usually I do something pretty simple for eyes. I'll just put a little bit of that same bronzer in my crease. And I really love these ColourPop E2 brushes. I think they're like $6 or $7 as well, but they were kind of like the first, this is kind of silly to say, but I feel like they're so much higher quality for the price point than any other brush that I really have. And these are just so great for plopping something in the crease. What? Sorry, apparently the cat was doing something very cute and I had to go see it. Alright, so I just took that through my crease. It's there. This is one of the newer things that I got, but I've really been enjoying it. It's the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 palette. Look how pretty. As per usual with the Tarte palette, a lot of them look the same, but I love putting a little bit of something shimmery like this all over my lid and like a little bit in the corner, especially for like a work look. I feel like it's unique and pretty, but it's something a little different. So for the most part I usually just use my finger. I'm gonna go in with the shade Escape, which I think is the one that I use the most. And I just do a little dab. But there are so many shades like this in other palettes that I use. But look how pretty that is. And then I take like a little pencil brush usually. This is, a Luxie 111 mini flat angled brush. Very pretty, yes. And then I mix together usually like the lighter one and the same one I put on my lid. And I'll put that in my inner corner and below my brow. Nice. Alright, so I'll show you some of the other shades that I use, kind of like for that sparkly shade. I always usually put bronzer in my crease, but some of my other favorite ones, you have the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. Mine is wrecked. I love, 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 love this shade. I think it's called, it's Obsessed, and I Am, right there. And then I usually mix these two together too, and we'll put them on my inner corner. If you have the original Naked palette, which I feel like everyone and their mother does, I really like Sin. It's like more pinky, and even like Sidecar has like a little bit more of that bronzy, the first 4 shades there. Another one of my favorites that I use a lot, this is the KathleenLights ColourPop Zodiac collection. The Cancer is like beautiful all over the lid. I really, really like that. This palette is just wonderful. Okay, somebody asked, what's the dumbest way you've hurt yourself? My boyfriend and I were just talking about this the other day because it came to my attention that he has never broken a bone. And I have only broken one bone. It was my collarbone. I was in, I think it was the summer before I went into 2nd grade. I was at my older brother's football game, and I was, it was a pretty nice field that they used to play on, and then there was a set of bleachers on like the home side that probably had like 15 rows. So it might have been like, I don't know, 20 feet in the air. I was underneath the bleachers with one of my neighbors, and we were sitting up on kind of like the rafters underneath the bleachers, and I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden I just fell. I was sitting like on a crossbar, and I don't know if I think I might have like put my foot up to move higher or something and slipped and just like hit every rung on the way down and somehow broke my collarbone. But I remember just laying there looking up, and I could see through the bleachers like where my mom was sitting, and my neighbor yelled up to my mom, and my mom kept saying, "Is she bleeding? Can you see a bone? Is anything wrong?" Well, then she's fine. And I just remember running upstairs, sitting on her lap, and just crying the whole rest of the game. And one of the parents they were sitting next to, I think was like a pediatrician or some type of doctor, and he took one look at my collarbone and was like, that's broken. She needs to go see a doctor. But that's like probably the most, like the biggest injury I've inflicted on myself, besides just like running into doors or silly stuff like that. So for my mascara, I love the Shiseido eyelash curlers. My eyelashes stick like straight down. So I like this because I feel like it's one of the only ones that actually curls my lashes. Okay, I'll try to show you a little bit of a difference. So these are eyelashes I just curled. Can you see them? Nope. And then you can see these point straight down. Okay, this is gonna be the most unnecessary part of my makeup. But I was watching the Taylor video, and I think she does this exact combination. And I've never used more than one mascara on my lashes before, and when she said she did, my mind was just completely blown that that was something that you could do. So I bought a little sample size of the Nars Climax. I really like this one because the bristles are almost like a hairbrush, in the sense of they're not, like they don't get all caked up with mascara, and they're very like kind of tough. So this I feel like definitely separates and makes my eyelashes very long. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Yeah, so you can see the difference there. It's crazy. So that's just one coat of the Nars Climax mascara. Okay, then I take the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara and just plop that right on top. Alright, so I usually stop here. I'm not huge on lipstick. I don't normally wear like a liquid lipstick. If I do anything, I really love these Burt's Bees lip shimmers. They just kind of add a nice gloss, and then they come in all different colors, which I really like these if you're looking to add some color. Go-to is the, this is the Revlon Super Lustrous Lip Gloss in Rosy Future. It's so pretty. So I will usually just add like a little bit of that. The sun. Highlight. So this is one of my favorite highlights too. I usually only use this if I have like a little bit of self-tan on because it's a little dark for me. But I'll just take a little brush. So this is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Highlighter in Stunner, which oh my gosh, look at that. Okay. Well, that was my everyday makeup tutorial. I will list all the products down below and some of the brushes that I used. If you have any other questions from Reddit or anything else that you would like me to answer, leave them down below, or leave a comment with your answer to one of the questions, especially the Game of Thrones one. If you have theories that are crazy, I want to know them. Well, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and like this video, and don't forget to share it. Thanks, bye.